If I had to go back to being a skinny, fat bastard and completely transform my physique all over again, what would I do differently? This is the question that a client asked me earlier on this week, and I thought it was a belter of a question because it really got me thinking about all the fuck ups I've made over the past 6 or so years since I've been going to the gym and training and trying to change my physique and my health, my strength. Where I've went wrong along that time frame, what I would do differently, and then got me kind of feeling a little bit down because I started thinking about maybe how further ahead I'd be if I didn't make those fuck ups. But what I thought would be beneficial is I thought a little bit more about it, and I've got 5 good ones that I want to share with you, put into this video, and yeah, I guess go into why they were a fuck up, what I would do differently, and why it would benefit me in the long run. And if you are making these same fuck ups currently, or you have done, then they'll benefit you as well. So fuck up number 1 is time management. This is the first thing that needs to be looked at because I didn't have any structure. I would go to the gym like just on the sort of time I had. I worked in hospitality, so it was shift pattern, so it wasn't consistent every single week, but just when I had the time, I had the mindset of, okay, I've got till the end of the week to get these workouts done. I've got up until the end of the week to get the meal prep done. Like, I'll just find time for it. And then what I kept finding was that it'd get to the weekend and I'd still have umpteen cardio sessions to do. I'd have umpteen steps to do. I'd have my meal prep to do, leading to me feeling overwhelmed, stressed out, and not enjoying the elements that I could have been enjoying, like my training, and seeing it as more of a chore than anything else. So if I could go back from the very beginning, from day one of starting going to the gym and starting looking after myself and my diet, blah, 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 the first thing that I would be doing is being married to Google Calendar, which is what I use now to plan my week and my schedule. I'd plan in, so I kind of have it in a tier list. I've got the essentials, which is like my work, my scheduling, things like, I'm a little bit anal with this shit. I schedule my calendar like when I'm going to be showering, when I'm going to be sleeping, just the things that keep me as a living, breathing, functioning human being. Then I've got the second tier, and that's kind of all the stuff for me. So my gym, my meal prep, and my food shop, just as much as that is obviously an essential part, it's still like stuff for me. And I've got the bottom tier, which is all this sort of stuff that's not essential, but you do it to enjoy life or you'll just be a miserable bastard. So maybe anything self-care, date night, trip to the barber shop, fucking whatever else, like things that aren't essential, but like you need some time for yourself. So if I could go back, that's how I would start off differently. And the reason why I know that would benefit me more is because I'd have less stress, I'd have less overwhelm, things would be a hell of a lot more consistent. And I mean, I'm a little bit autistic nowadays, but I feel like just life would be a lot simpler. I don't feel like, I know for a fact it would be. I think it would be less chaotic, less messy. I'd be more consistent. Things would get done a hell of a lot more often, and I would enjoy the whole process significantly more as well. So just planning my week and every little thing that needs to get done, giving it a day and a time, and setting that as appointments with myself and treating it as a non-negotiable. Fuck up number 2 is focusing on quantity over quality with my training. Had to make sure I got that the right way around there. When I first started, I was training like 5 or 6 times a week. When I first started going to the gym, it was 6 sessions a week, but it was a proper bro split, you know, chest day, back day, shoulder day, leg day, arm day. Then on the 6th day, I would just go in and do a heap of ab stuff. What I would do differently now is I would strip that right back. I would take those 5 or 6 sessions, I would condense it down into 4, and rather than doing something like a bro split, I would do an upper lower split. I would spend an entire session just focusing on like a push, a pull for my upper body. So like doing a chest movement, a shoulder movement, a back movement, bicep movement, tricep movement. For my lower body, I would do like a squat, a lunge, a hinge as well, and then do some like isolation movements, like a leg extension, a leg curl, and then repeat. And then what that would allow me to do is, number 1, I would get a little bit more training frequency, which is then going to elicit more hypertrophy and build more muscle, blah, blah, blah. I would get a little bit more recovery time as well, so a little bit more time away from the gym, which is where you're not growing muscle or building muscle, when you are in the gym lifting weights. You're doing it while you're recovering and resting. So I would have more ample time to elicit that hypertrophy or build that muscle, put in basic phrasing there, I would get a lot more bang for buck out of my training. So if you're doing, let's say you're doing one session and you're working one body part, let's say it's chest, and you're doing 6 exercises for your chest, that first exercise, yeah, fair enough, you're going to get a lot of quality work done there. What do you think the quality is going to be like at the very end of that session? It's probably going to be dog shit. No, not probably, definitely will be dog shit. So there's not an awful lot of point there, but if you're doing an upper body session, you're maybe doing a chest exercise, a back exercise, a shoulder exercise, bicep, tricep, that sort of thing. So each set that you are doing for that body part is high quality. And then you're doing that twice per week. So you're just getting a lot more bang for buck and a lot more quality out of your training. And as I said, you're getting a little bit more recovery time as well. Fuck up number 3, and there's an argument to be made with this one, but it's kind of treating my nutrition like a bodybuilder. As I said, I'm a little bit autistic and I like consistency and I like routine, and following a meal plan for me sometimes worked best. But when I think back to when I first started, I remember not looking forward to any of my food. I remember grudging the thought of having to eat a lot of my meals. And because I didn't really know how to cook at the time, they were just bland and boring, and they were the same. The reason why that's a bit of an issue is it just made me like not want what I'm eating. And I could have enjoyed my food a hell of a lot more. And not that it did make adherence a lot more difficult in the way that it was more challenging than it needed to be, and that didn't need to be the case. So I think what I would do differently now is, rather than just having a set meal plan and being married to it, I would focus purely on just calories and protein to begin with. I wouldn't get so caught up in carbs and fats because they're not essential. Like, calories are king here and protein is essential. So I would focus on those 2 things, and I'd add fruit and veg to each one of my meals. And then I'd fill the rest of my calories with carbs and fats. I would have set protein sources for each meal. So whether that was, like, let's just say hypothetically, Greek yogurt in the morning, chicken, beef, fish, and then fucking whey protein in the evening, whatever. They would be my set protein sources for each one of my meals. And then I'd swap out maybe the fruit and the veg, or the carb sources or the fat sources, just depending. So I'd give myself a little bit of flexibility there, which would then give me a hell of a lot more enjoyment with my nutrition. I would enjoy the meals that I'm eating. I would look forward to my meals, a little bit more. It wouldn't make me want to go off plan as much as I did want to. And I would get a lot more satisfaction out of the whole process and out of the diet. And I think it would also have improved my relationship with food a little bit quicker than it originally did. 4th fuck up and thing that I would change if I could go back is, I don't know how to word this, but I would take myself away from social media. When I first started, I became very fixated on following like bodybuilders and athletes and just general people that were in better shape than me, and it made me feel really shit about myself. It made me become a little bit more, obsessive isn't the right word, but I was putting in a lot of graft and I was making great progress, but because I was looking at people that were levels above me, I wasn't appreciating that progress and the changes in the development within myself. So I think the reason why this really held me back was because I felt like I wasn't progressing when I really was. I felt like I wasn't making changes, or should have been making changes more quickly. And when the rate of progress that I was making was good, it was on point. And I think this is where a lot of people go wrong nowadays, especially with how easily accessible like the internet and social media is that you don't appreciate what you have or what you are making or the direction that you're going in, because there's some arsehole, so they're not an arsehole, but there's someone on social media that's just showcasing a highlight. And maybe because they've spent more time, more effort, or they've got the right angles, the right lighting, whatever it might be, you're completely neglecting what you've got going on and the thing that you have and the thing that you're building, because you've just seen some random stranger who's just levels above you, when there's absolutely no comparison. And I know for a fact that if I had done that differently, if I'd just taken a step back away from social media, spent less time on it, didn't follow any bodybuilders, athletes, or people that were just levels above me on Instagram or social media in general, I've been a lot more focused on my own shit. Hell of a lot more appreciative of the progress that I'm making and the results that I'm getting. And I wouldn't have been as distracted at all, to be honest. 5th and final fuck up, if I could do things differently and do it all over again, I would hire help. and not just hire help in general. I would make a point of hiring a coach or a trainer who is big on education, who's big on not just getting you a result, but telling you the what, the whys, and the whens. So they have the sort of prerogative of getting you from A to B, but then giving you everything you need to get from B to C by yourself. What I did was I fucked up a little bit to begin with, and then I hired someone who wasn't the most reputable. They weren't the most qualified. They weren't the most knowledgeable, but they just had a massive physique. They had a lot of muscle, and I wanted that. And I was like, right, I'm going to pay that person to tell me what to do. Now in hindsight, looking back, what they told me to do was stupid. Okay, so if I could do something differently, I would have hired help sooner on for a start, and I would have spent more time researching who I'm going to hire. I would have avoided some complications along the way in terms of like injuries. Injuries. Like I done a video not too long ago about rebounding after a fat loss phase. I would have avoided that, becoming a fat bastard in the space of 1 month after getting quite lean. I would have avoided a lot of headaches. I would have made quicker results. I would have probably became a coach sooner on myself. Obviously that didn't happen anywhere near that time, but that would have happened quicker if I had become more knowledgeable, and I would obviously be more knowledgeable now, I'm assuming anyway. If I went back and changed those 5 things, number 1, I would have made results quicker. I would have saved a lot of time, energy, heartache, headache. And I think for anyone watching this, if you feel like you're scrambling at the moment and you're not consistent with things, or you're struggling to adhere to things, look at your time management. Be very anal with planning your week. Be a little bit autistic, because it will only benefit you. Focus on quality over quantity with your training. Like if you're going to the gym 5, 6, fucking 7 times a week, strip that back to 4. Focus on an upper-lower split that just focuses on movement patterns. You will get more bang for buck. Rather than fixating too much on things like every specific macro or following a meal plan 100%. If it works for you and you enjoy doing that, fan-fucking-tastic, more power to you. But when it comes to nutrition, the 2 things that matter, or the 3 things that matter really, calories are king for weight management, protein is the only essential macronutrient, and fiber is really fucking important as well. So focus on those 3 things above all else. If you feel like you're married to social media, take a step back and actually, I was going to say smell the roses, appreciate the progress that you're making, and focus on your own shit rather than some what dickhead influencer is doing. I keep calling them dickheads. I don't know why. They've not done anything, but yeah, just focus on your own shit. And then if you feel like you're in a position where you're stuck, you don't know what the fuck to do, you've plateaued, you're not making any more progress, hire someone. You will save yourself a lot of time and energy and headache, but make sure that person is as invested in helping you getting from A to B and then from B to C by yourself, and not just telling you what to do, and to trust the process, because that won't help. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you took something away from it. If there's anything else you want me to cover, let me know in the comments below. I've added the link in the description as well to join my email list, where I'm giving out free bits of advice every single week and showcasing my client results. And I'll catch you in the next one.